Oh no, Gibson changed their website. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. I know nobody likes change, but I'm going to make this video just as an exploratory thing to see what has gone on. But just as a refresher, throughout Friday, August 22nd of 2025, here's what the website looked like for the past, 5 or 6 years. You had this main little hub here where it would come down, you could see the certified vintage, new arrivals, bestsellers. You've got electric, acoustic, custom shop, amps and effects, and you can also see some of their other brands. And they just had a whole bunch of different categories here. But usually the biggest, newest thing that they're trying to sell you was showing up here on the top. And then when that one got kicked out by the next latest and greatest thing, it got shoved down here, like the Marcus King. Whereas the mod collection was a standstill on the front page, usually in this location. And then recently the certified vintage, which they're really working on, had its own mainstay. And then down here, you could shop by categories. So here's what we have now. Seems like a fairly similar layout, but this time it takes up nearly the entire page. Now, please know I'm recording this as soon as I saw this, so maybe these are just placeholders, because let's be real here, what are they really advertising outside of 0% interest for 36 months? But they've really simplified things here. So guitars, right here, same thing with the acoustics. Not too much has changed there. How about amps and effects? I'm not a real big amp and effect guy, so I don't know how much that's really changed, but it seems their parts a little bit more simplified. Accessories, cases, guitar accessories, Gibson strings, easier to find apparel. Excuse me? I didn't know they made dog collars. Are these new? I don't remember these at all. They have to be new, so they've matched your design with the collar. Yeah, I think they're going to sell some of those. Going back to how it used to look, the more and more there is on the page, I will agree that it kind of got cluttered. Everything's here. You can find it. It's just fine. It wasn't very stylistically pleasing. Something about it being a little bit closer together, I do like it. My only complaint right now is the site is very, very white. Like it's blinding. Feels like I'm at an Apple store. But let's look at some guitars. Wow! At first I was kind of turned off that everything was changing, but I think I like what I'm seeing here. You can actually see these things. Can I change the color from here? Or does it change me to a different page? Nah, sure enough. You can play around just right here. Because previously, all the stuff was rather small. Like, it was nice, it had all the outline around it, but as far as the product, you had to click on it if you wanted to see it. Browsing was a bit tricky, and most of the guitars had that full shot. However, I think them switching over to the full body, and then, if somebody's interested, they can then swap the colors right here. Now, they're going to get less clicks on their site, but it makes it more appealing to potentially purchase it from Gibson.com, because let's face it, the reason that they've done this is they want to sell direct now. Because if you guys remember, a couple of weeks ago, I noted this. Gibson.com actually has accounts now. And unfortunately, I didn't actually try to sign up for that until after I made that episode, and I found it was all glitchy and weird. It wouldn't actually let me into my account. However, now it all makes sense and it works. And if you have ever purchased a guitar from Gibson, even as a guest, they have been logging you in here. Here's every single order that I have done. Now, most of these were the mod collections before sales tax got kicked in for all the states that collect it. But I think that is the main reason why they've made all these changes. I'm happy about having an account because now we don't have to furiously type in our information when trying to get a mod collection guitar when they come out. I also see things like if you could care less about Kramer, the Gibson app, Mesa Boogie, KRK, you just want to get news on the Gibsons and the Epiphones, you can do that. But now besides just that, they have this new compare option. Let's see what that's about. It looks like we can select up to 3 things to compare. It looks like it just puts them all on one page, and you can get their full descriptions. Now, I get what they're trying to do here, but man, is that clunky looking. They do appear to have some highlights down here, but you know what? Maybe just forget about the key features segment. That doesn't really seem to be that helpful. This is what I was looking for. So burst bucker, custom bucker, nice. But this is interesting since I chose one Gibson USA, you get the accessory kit, but when you step up to custom shop, you no longer get that. This feels a bit misleading because this one is also solid mahogany. I think what they're trying to get at here is this is a multi-pieced mahogany body. I would love to see some more transparency in that because when I think solid, I think about weight relief. But I generally like what I'm seeing here. I was expecting the mod collection to eventually just break off from Gibson.com and be its own website or to have a banner up here with it, but no, it seems like it's just going to live right here under new and featured. Now, I'm recording this episode before I've done the mod collection this week, so you guys are not seeing this in recording order. This just looks like the rest of the Gibson.com website now, so it makes sense why they switched these over to the Gibson.com overall look. It certainly makes the mod collection guitars a lot easier to browse. However, I really wish we could select between the different photos and not actually have to click. But that whole compare option would be very valuable. Oh wait, doesn't work for mod collection, gives you that X. But man, this site seems really zoomed in. I would love to have a zoom option, built within the site. But you always have your browser settings to make it a little bit easier to see everything if you don't need everything that big. Previously, the listings would look like this. And you could also click on it to then take it into full screen. But you had your price and the color. But here's our new one. I see exactly why they've designed it this way. Do you guys see how small the price is over here? That is by design. They want you to come over here and be like, oh yeah, blue top, blue back. I actually do really enjoy being able to see those both at the same time, having two different rows here. Maybe they could even configure it to have three. They want you to fall in love with this thing and need to order it right away, regardless of the price. You've got the financing options. But as far as your description, that's really small now. You have to hit the whole read more. They don't even want you to pay attention to this. I mean, even the specs, you got to click on it to have them out now. And not everybody knows to click. I'd rather the page just automatically be set up like this personally. But now they've got some suggestions over here. I was kind of curious, would they make an archive for the mod collection? It seems like it's suggesting things that I've clicked on in the past, but those are long gone sold. But hey, they can just suggest you more things from there. But that's the main page. We can also scroll down. What else do they have going on? Electric, acoustic, certified vintage. I'm curious about that. Have they changed that up? At this point in time, you can't actually click the photos to get there. You have to click the little circle. I'm sure that's going to change. But yeah, sure enough, certified vintage is looking the same. I bet you can't compare these. Nope. Not yet anyways. Maybe they're working on it. But I do know Gibson is looking to really revamp all this stuff. Then scrolling down a bit farther, you get the featured products. So these are all the new ones. Man, this site just seems to go on forever. So if you're just casually browsing, you've got a lot of different options. I'm curious, did they change their about thems? Yep, we got Cesar up here. To be fair, I don't think I've ever looked at this part of the website. It has a nice little write-up. And cool, we've got other people at Gibson get in the spotlight. That's something I've always felt Gibson hasn't done historically a good job of, putting recognition in names to people. Like we had to learn about Bruce Kunkel and Tom Murphy through word of mouth, but at the same time, I can also understand why they wouldn't necessarily want to say, hey, other companies, here's our biggest talent, come poach them. So far, this seems to be more the management team. Very cool. Let's see, does getting a job at Gibson become easier now? We've got the Gibson Garage in Nashville. Looks like they're looking for some California people. Netherlands, as well as Bozeman, Montana. That's where they sell them in Nashville. I'm pretty sure that's like the Gibson Artist Division showroom. And then the Netherlands, that's where they base most of their operations for the EU side of things. What kind of benefits do you get at Gibson? That's kind of cool. Volunteer time off. I'm curious though, are they still paid like a vacation day and that's like how Gibson pays you to go help at other charities? Paid family leave? Always good. Loaner instrument program. This is cool that it's actually being advertised now. I've heard about employees talking about it, how they can choose anything out of a certain room for like a week or two. Looks like they got all that good stuff in there. 401k with company match. All right, now, where's the 20 and 40 year anniversary guitar talk? Surely it's gotta be here. Nope, that one they keep it secret. I find it strange that view positions is all the way down there. Oh, there's nothing. I bet they're still working on that because I'm pretty sure they're hiring quite a few things, unless they've really downsized. But I'm curious, what about registering for warranty? I mean, it looks like it's changed a little bit, but should be about the same. But how about this? Gibson guitar specs 2015 to 2019. This is what the Gibson website looked about 2 generations ago. As you can tell, they just never really had a great way to see everything at once. They wanted you clicking. But here's my hot take. I think they had the listing page right 2 generations ago. I still love and enjoy looking at this because it's like reading an article about the guitar you want. You've got a couple of paragraphs here, and then it's broken up with some photos, and then you get some more specs. You see what it's talking about, and man, I missed this. I love being able to see them all together, and you got the colors listed right there, and you've got your little squares. But you got to remember, back then, they weren't really trying to sell direct. It was more so, here's the information, go find a dealer. So I totally understand where they're coming from in switching to all photos for the eye candy and specs later. But now in clicking in our electric program, I do like this. When it's just general, they tell you about the original collection, the modern collection, exclusive, historic, Murphy Lab. And when you just see the text, I've always found that to be very, very cumbersome. But being able to kind of visually see what the differences are here helps people make informed decisions there. Like, for example, I think anybody can tell you, hey, that's like a more traditional one, whereas, oh, that thing's a modern thing. Maybe I do like that. Exclusive? All right, must be some crazy colors. And then there's the aged ones, and then the older looking ones that are historically spec'd. And then all the other things that we've already talked about. So overall, here's my thoughts. I don't like the main page. This is a whole lot of wasted space, in my opinion. Like, this isn't even advertising anything, but I'm sure that will change. What they've got going on here, it's familiar and effective. It'll do the job. As it pertains to the mod collection, I hated it at first when I saw it, but I am warming up to the idea. I'm more so just like, I have to change the way I record those episodes now. But fewer clicks to see the photos big, I like it. I just wish the old link style still would have worked because we lost a lot of history that day. Epiphone's website has changed exactly the same way, although I'd make the argument I actually like their website better. It's advertising something pertinent at the top. If you check out Kramer or anything, you'll see that as well. So all right, Troglodytes, that's enough rambling for tonight. But if you're looking for more old-timey Gibson website fun, you might enjoy this episode next. I know change is scary, but usually once you warm up to it, it's good. Take care.